The business you are dreaming of is possible. The life you're dreaming of is possible. And I promise you that what will end up happening will be way beyond what you could have imagined. We put this on because we want this to be a moment that marks the beginning of a significant transformation in your business and your life. Over the last 7 years, I have had the privilege of watching doctors change radically. And because I've seen it so many times, I want you to understand that that is exactly what I want for you. So this is about you. This is not about the EntreMD Business School. The EntreMD Business School is only as important as the help that it offers you and the support that it offers you to get to where you're going. This is about you. This is not about the school. If you can, and I promise this is not some woo-woo thing, but I just want you to focus. If you are not driving, I want you to just humor me and close your eyes for a second. I'm going to have you think of something. This is very important. I just want you to close your eyes for a minute. And I want you to think about this. If you had your way, forget about expectations, forget about what is now, forget about all of that. Let's say things are possible. New possibilities are possible. If you had your way, what would your business look like? Right? I want you to think about your brand, what that would be like. I want you to think about how much revenue you would bring in. Think about the kind of team you would have, the kind of leader you will be. I want you to think about those things. I want you to think about the systems you put in place so your business is running smoothly, right? It is giving you the opportunity to help a lot of people while creating financial freedom for you, creating time freedom for you. I want you to think about what your personal life will look like when you have that time. Time for your family, time for hobbies, time for another business, time for your health. You can sleep at night. I want you to lean into all of that because that is what today is about. Lean into all of that. And once you can see that picture, I want you to connect with that because that's what this is about. This is about closing the door on one chapter and opening a brand new chapter for you. That's different. This is important. This is more important than whatever we say the school does because it's about your dream becoming your reality. So all through today, I want you to hold, as we go through all of this, I want you to hold that picture, okay? I'm going to walk you through some things, okay? And then we're going to have some students come up and share their story. Oh my goodness, when they come up to share their stories, do not buy into, oh, that could be make-believe. That could never work with me. No, the picture you saw can become your reality. I have seen hundreds of doctors do this. Today, we're looking at the EntreMD Business School. And why is this so important? Remember the picture you saw? You are literally one set of skills away from building a life that will blow your own mind. Literally one set of skills away. And those are business skills. And that's why the business school exists. Otherwise, there's no reason for it to exist. Okay. So again, this is about you. All right. Now, this is the challenge that we have as physicians. We were never taught to run businesses. We were never taught to curate the future that we want. We were trained to take care of patients and we're geniuses at it. But there are more things that are required if we are going to make the dream business and the dream life possible. Okay. So we weren't taught these things. So imposter syndrome is an issue that shows up for us time and time again. We are great clinicians, but terrified CEOs. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know. We were not told to build brands. We were not taught to market. We were not taught to lead teams in a profitable way. As a community, revenue confusion is common. We are afraid of talking about money. We think talking about money makes us greedy. We're like, how much is enough? We look at profit and loss statements. We're not quite sure what they are. If you're like me, you break out in hives when you see them. Like, what do I do about this? Talking about money is just a taboo topic. And if you've ever wondered why I talk about it so much, that's why, to kind of shake us out of it. Okay. As a community, we don't have time freedom. Okay. So yes, we may be employed and we're working all the time. We're at work and we come home, we're charting and doing all the other stuff at night. Or if we have businesses, we're working in the business during the day and at night we're working on the business. Right. And so where do you have the time to do what needs to be done? Okay. When it comes to team, Oh my goodness. The firing, the hiring, the running away from the team meetings, feeling like we're micromanaging, being so terrified of holding people accountable. And if we don't hire, dealing with doing it all alone. And it doesn't matter whether you have a startup or you're running a $3 million business. I have talked with physicians over and over and over. Until you acquire the skills, until you become the kind of person who is a physician CEO, this is the issue for every single one. Okay. Okay. Now, and even when the business starts working, it seems like when the business gets better, the stress grows. I have talked to people who are terrified. Like I'm doing a $3 million business. I don't want to hire anybody because the more people I hire, the more pain and suffering, the less money I make. Right? Because if we do not learn these things, we cannot pull it off. I say this all the time that no physician has run a successful business. It takes a physician entrepreneur to do that. And that is what the business school is all about. So you have a business that's running you. Yeah, the harder you work, the less you bring home. And the saddest part is like, if you're like me, you're like, I am smart. This is not supposed to be this hard. I am smart. I am hardworking. And all of this should not be this challenging. It's not about working hard. And it's not about being smart as a clinician. It's about being a savvy physician entrepreneur. And you will see from the stories you heard here, once you start acquiring this, it puts you in a position where all of these challenges become historical facts. Okay. So nothing is wrong with you. If you find yourself here, there is nothing wrong with you. You are literally just one set of skills away. Okay. All right. Now, I get it because I was you in my ignorance, my blissful ignorance. I started a private practice. That was my first business in 2010. And I said, I'm a great pediatrician. I have a great work ethic. My patients love me, all of these things. I'm going to hang the shingle and they will come. I hung the shingle. They did not come. I want you to understand, if you run a private practice, you understand that you are paying bills every day. You don't have time for people not to come, right? So people are not coming. I was looking at go behind and behind financially. I was so terrified of hiring people. Please hear me when I say this, because I tell people, if I could change with the frameworks that I use in the EntreMD Business School, which are the frameworks I use to pull myself out of this hole, almost anybody can change. Because when I started my private practice, I couldn't even bring myself to hire a front desk person. I said, how can I bring somebody into this to see this mess? I don't even know what I'm doing. I was the front desk person. I was the MA. So when somebody would come in, I would answer the phone. I had an alter ego. I'm like, hi, thank you for calling Ivy League Pediatrics. This is Ella. How can I help you? That was me. I was Ella. Okay. I was Ella. I did not hire a front desk person. I would check the people in. I would work them up as the MA. I would see them as the doctor. I'd come back and give them the shots, and I would go bill for their visit myself. That is how terrified I was. I would not look at my profit and loss statement. I'm like, yeah, they can handle it. I don't know what that means. I can't figure this out. I'm not that kind of person. And I was so embarrassed by what I did not know. After all, I was a smart physician. I was supposed to understand this stuff. I was supposed to know this stuff. And if you're here and you're thinking that I'm supposed to know this stuff, please understand when I tell you this. No, you're not. It's like saying I'm supposed to know medicine without going to medical school. No, you're not. No, you're not. Oh yeah, just because I had a baby, I should understand everything about motherhood. No, no, ma'am, no, sir. That's not the way this works. There are things that we need to evolve. So anyway, I went through the evolution that I'm inviting you to go through in the EntreMD Business School. And this is where I am now. I lead 5 companies, and I do that confidently. I have more time leading 5 companies than I did running 1 company with no patients. Okay. I'm homeschooling my 4 kids because that's what I wanted to do. I have time to work on my health. In fact, recently I just lost 22 pounds because I decided I want to spend this time and work on my health. I'm able to travel. I'm able to follow all kinds of projects that I want to do. Write the books, do the podcast, do the YouTube, do all of those things because I've learned how to create time freedom. I live a life that has touched thousands of lives. Our company has been on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies for 3 years in a row. This super shy, socially awkward, introverted introvert can show up and dominate on stage. All of these things happen. Why? Because of the things, and it's the same things that we do in the EntreMD Business School. Now, before we get to hear the stories, we're doctors and we're scientists, and I want to show you some numbers now these are not made up, okay? This is the data from the people who filled out the surveys from 2025. So these are actual students in the EntreMD Business School looking at 2025. And I want to show you how crazy things can be when you put yourself in the right container, you have the right mentorship, you have the right community of elite, we're talking elite physician entrepreneurs, and you give yourself the gift of accountability because that's what we do. Okay. So let's look at some data points here. Okay. Now, we looked at revenue before you came into EBS, revenue at the end of 2025. The difference in revenue, 24.8 million. I didn't make these numbers up. Pretty crazy. Okay. Median revenue, $375,000. Average revenue, $818,000. And remember, you are the sum, your life reflects the environment you put yourself in. Out there, people are like, private practice is dead, nothing is working, woe is us, all of that stuff. Well, you get to be in a container where the average revenue is 818K. Think about how crazy that is. In a container where people are like, you know what, I think I'm going to take this to $1 million. And they come and do a running commentary of how they did this stuff. Where people are like, you know what, I think 10 million is where I'm going. And nobody says, what is wrong with you? You're greedy, you're this, you're that. No, it's like, come on, let's go. Okay. Now, in 2025, 21% of the people in the school crossed 7 figures in revenue. 10% crossed multiple 7 figures. 35% crossed 500,000 in revenue. And I'm going to show you why this is so important in a minute. 61% of the people grew into a higher revenue category. So either they had nothing and they went from 100,000 to 250,000 to 500,000 to 750 to $1 million to 2 million. Like 61% not only grew, but grew into a new revenue category. And we have people, like we have a person who reported that she 6x'd her investment in the EntreMD Business School in 6 months. So we can have an alternate reality. It does not have to be the way it is, but we have to change. Now, let's look beyond the revenue. Because sometimes people are like, oh, I've been thinking about the EntreMD Business School, but the time and all of this stuff, I want to show you, because business is a means to an end. Business is something that allows you serve a lot of people while creating time freedom and financial freedom for yourself. That's what it does. So it's not going to hustle and die in a business, it's building your dream business and your dream life concurrently. 85% of people took more than 2 weeks off. Okay. Now, if you look down here, you see the breakdown. 4% took none. Okay. 11% took 1 to 2 weeks. 28% took 2 to 4 weeks. 32% took 4 to 6 weeks. 13% of the doctors who filled out the survey from the EntreMD Business School took 2 months off. 9% took 3 months off. Okay. And I want you to look at the bottom, what it says here. Members at higher revenue tiers consistently took more time off. I want you to hear this. As their businesses are getting bigger, they're not dying. They're taking more time off, not less time off, right? 71% said their family and personal lives improved. I want you to think about this. My business is growing. My family and personal life is improving. I'm getting more time off. And 88% say they feel more confident as a CEO. Guys, we can have an alternate reality. This is why we're here. I know many of you have been on calls, talking about the EntreMD Business School. You've heard about this multiple times. You've heard about it on the podcast. And you may be thinking, I don't know if I have the time. Clearly, this is a problem we help people solve. You might be thinking, oh, but what of my family? I build this business. I have to sacrifice my family. Look at these numbers, right? You may be thinking, it's just going to cost me too much. And look at what the doctors here say, okay? So this is a number we're not very familiar with in medicine. It's a net promoter score, and it's 9.6 out of 10 or 96. And it's not 9.6 out of 10 in that kind of way. Let me tell you, when you look at 96 as a net promoter score, that is world-class loyalty. Harvard has a net promoter score of 38. Disney has a net promoter score of 37. Apple has a net promoter score of somewhere between 46 to 72, depending on the product. This shows that people are like, we love this. We have people, the school started in 2020. We have people who have been in the school since 2020. And they use a hashtag EBS for life, like I'm not going anywhere. Why is that? Because the longer they stay, the more they build, the more of their dream business, the more of their dream life. Okay? We have doctors who started from employed physician, and now the goal they're working on is taking their business to 8 figures. It's mind-boggling. Okay. 9.2 out of 10 said they can trace the transformation in their lives to what they're learning in the EntreMD Business School. That's that impact score right there, right? Okay. Why am I showing you this? Because I want you to understand that there is an alternate reality. Things do not have to be the way they are. And that goal that you saw, the picture that you look like what life could look like, you can have a version of that life that blows that version out the park. But there's a process. And the EntreMD Business School walks you through that process. Okay? All right. Now, you are going to get to meet some of the doctors in the EntreMD Business School. Please, when you hear their stories, it's not about they did that because it worked for them, because it's not about that. It's about, interesting. If that could happen for a physician, what could happen for me? And Makita is going to introduce our guests, all fun students from the EntreMD Business School.
Thank you, Dr. Una. Wasn't that amazing? So incredible. So I want us to just jump right in. So I'm going to call Dr. Hanta Shepherd. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, Dr. Shepherd, and tell us all about yourself. Tell us what life was like before you joined the EntreMD Business School, any hesitation you may have had in joining, and all of the good stuff.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I am Hanta Shepherd. I am a urologist. I'm out here in Hartford, Connecticut, Hartford County. My office is actually in Glastonbury, but I am so happy to be here today because I think it is one of the things that I have always found super important in my life was the notion of paying it forward. I have had so many opportunities and gifts that came from others paying it forward and sharing lessons and tips and tricks and really just not keeping things secret. And can I tell you that the EntreMD Business School, I refuse to let that be the world's best kept secret. I've been in practice now for going on 6 years. I trained in Boston and I moved to Connecticut just after COVID and joined a small private practice and really started to create my own niche within the area. But I believed in private practice so much, but I saw so much that was just not right. Inefficiencies, cultural issues, really just a lot of noise. And I felt that there was a better way to practice medicine and to treat my patients and to be an advocate for them. And I just, started, the seed, was there. And over time, I started to become introduced to other very influential physicians. And I will never forget, at an American Urologic Association conference in Chicago, I saw an EntreMD alum, Dr. Milhouse, and I had gotten introduced to her through social media. She is a queen at the social media posting, which she learned here at EntreMD. And I had an absolute fangirl moment. I said, oh my goodness, like I'm inspired by you. I heard your story. I heard that you started your own practice. Can you tell me how you did this and how you feel? And she basically said this was the best thing that she had ever done. And she introduced me actually to the podcast. She said, you had to listen to this podcast. Just listen. And there is a business school, and it costs money, but it is well worth it if you want to make the investment. And so that was my first introduction to Dr. Una and EntreMD. And I have to tell you, I became obsessed. I binged. I went all the way back to the very first episode and I listened a lot. And then eventually just looked forward to that Monday episode, the new one coming in. And it took me months, but I got there and I continued and I listened to the podcast for probably almost 2 years. And then I had a discovery call with Makita. And at that time, I thought, oh, I can't afford this. Like, I want this. I need this. And is this the right time? Can I even do it? Other people have done this, but is that me? Am I responsible enough for this? Like, can I actually succeed? Am I going to fail? And another year went by. And actually, the interesting thing about it is while listening to the podcast, I became so inspired. And even though I had decided not to join EBS at that time, I said, well, I need to start paving my way just in case. I don't know what's coming. I have no idea what's coming. So I started locums and I started working and I didn't know what I was doing with this money. And I'm just save it. And finally, about 6 to 7 months in to me starting locums, and this is in addition to my full-time job, right? So all of my vacation time I was using to do locums, and the practice was falling apart. It was just terrible. And I said, you know what, enough is enough. I can't do this. So I got on the phone and I signed up, and it has been an unreal journey. Within 6 months of me joining EntreMD, I got everything set up, created my LLC, did all of the things, got my tax ID, all of the things, and I opened up my own practice. And actually, next week is going to be our 1-year anniversary. I have so many things that I'm working on. I still have, thanks, guys. I still have so much imposter syndrome. I still have so much noise that sometimes I allow to enter in. And then I look around and I'm reminded of how truly blessed I am. And if it were not for the EntreMD community, and the thing about it, and Dr. Una will say it, it's not just her, it's the community. And when I tell you that I am surrounded by such gifted people who do not gatekeep, who share, and the amazing thing was me finding out that I also have something to share, that I have also figured things out and achieved things. And people are like, oh, like, how did you do that? And I'm like, oh, well, let me tell you all of the things. And it's the best feeling because, when I stumble, when I fall, like, I have a community to lean back on. And it is so refreshing, so incredibly amazing to have a group of people who understand you as you are, and with all of your flaws and all of your mind drama, and embrace you and see so much inside of you. I wouldn't trade it for the world. This is now my second year. You're stuck with me.
I speak to a lot of doctors who are like, you know what, I believe in the school. Like, I believe that this school can make a difference in my life. I believe that, everything that you guys are saying will probably work for me, but I can't get over the investment. So how were you able to overcome that? Or what made you say yes anyway?
Part of it was some planning. So I really did a lot of reflection, and I said to myself, if I'm going to do this, like, I want to do it well. And obviously, we don't want to go into debt doing the things. To be honest, starting the locums job, actually, when I said that I didn't know what I was going to do with that money, I was like, well, if I can save enough, I'd like to invest and use this money to join EntreMD. And I did. But then I still had enough seed funds to start my practice without getting a loan. And so that to me was so powerful. And, even just listening to the podcast, there are so many pearls of wisdom that honestly I would not have known about had I not listened. And really, like, listened and took heed and took action. Definitive. That's the thing. Like, you have to take definitive action. Just thinking about something is not enough. You have to move, and it's always working. And I realize when I think about it that it was always working from the beginning, and it was simply a matter of time. It was inevitable. It was just a matter of when, right? So I would say for me, I used the locums funds, but honestly, I've heard other docs on the weekly meetings say that there was one person who said that she used her tax return. I mean, I was like, oh, that's so smart. Can I, but I want to use my tax return for her. There's so many different ways in which you can get there. But if you plan accordingly, ultimately, I think that if you want something enough, if you need something and you live it and you breathe it, you will find a way and you will plan for it. And even if you feel, you look at your accounts and you're like, okay, I don't have that now. Well, make a plan, make a definitive plan and decide your timeline and say, okay, by this date, I'm going to have this and I'm going to then pick up the phone and call Makita.
This was so inspirational. We are so proud of you. We are rooting for you. And we just can't wait to see what's next for you. Congratulations on all of your success and for all of the wonderful things you've been able to do for your patients, for your community, and for your family, because you said yes to your dreams. Can you guys handle another doctor? I have the amazing Dr. Carolyn Moyers, who's going to talk to us about her journey with EBS.
I'm Dr. Carolyn Moyers. I'm founder of Sky Women's Health, and it's a boutique gynecology and osteopathy practice in Fort Worth, Texas. And I focus on perimenopause, menopause, and sexual health, but still do gynecologic surgery. Okay. I first heard about EntreMD Business School through Dr. Una's podcast. So way back in the day, in the very beginning, I was listening to this podcast and I was like, who is this pediatrician who believes we can do all this stuff? Okay. So every week I'd listen. She used these basketball analogies. And I was like, I don't know sports, but okay. So I remember getting on the phone with Dr. Una, and I joined the very day I opened my practice in 2020. Okay, so like fourth quarter of 2020. And at the time, I was the sole provider in my family. I had 3 young kids at home. My husband was a teacher and believed very strongly that one of us was going to raise our children. So he was home doing all things with all the kids. And I was doing OB hospitalist work when I started my practice. And so I kind of went with, okay, Monday and Friday, I don't have any shifts in September of 2020. I'm starting because I believe that I deserve better and my patients deserve better. I eventually, dropped down those shifts and then picked up shifts here and there. And I self-funded my entire practice. So I would not recommend starting the way I started. I did not have an email list. I did not have a plan. I was drawing it out on my kids' art easel paper, figuring it out from day one. But I had the luxury of that because I had the OB hospitalist. So day to day, building a business while taking hospital shifts, caring deeply about the patients I was seeing, while carrying the full weight of providing for my family. And even as the practice grew, I continued, picking up shifts. And now I have this locum that I've been doing for the last 2.5 years. And I've given notice. And it was just to make sure that I had consistent income. So it gave me some ease. But if I'm honest, the real crux was I didn't fully believe in myself. And I didn't believe I could truly niche down. And I didn't trust that I could build something focused and still be successful. So instead, I let the practice kind of evolve reactively. Over time, many patients showed me the way, and so I became menopause certified. And then I was like, oh my God, I have to learn about sexual medicine because we don't learn anything about this in OBGYN residency. So I got involved with ISHWISH and have learned all the things. And it has just developed into this beautiful practice. So the business was growing. We're going in the right direction by all means. But I knew that I was the limiting factor as the leader. I was building with hesitation. I was working hard, but still second guessing myself. Eventually, I stepped away after my first year with EntreMD because I went to do coaching on money and coaching on life, and it was all very wonderful. I really thought that those things were kind of the missing piece, but eventually after leaving, I noticed the self-doubt didn't go away. Look at that, it's still there wherever you are. There she is. And what really stood out to me was watching my colleagues from EntreMD continue to grow and scale while I felt like I was like walking through sludge. And then I started to think, well, maybe I need to work on myself as a leader. And so fast forward to June of 2025, and I signed up last minute for a 1-day EntreMD event that was happening, I think it was in June. I don't even remember what it was called. I just knew Dr. Una's putting it on. It's going to be wonderful. I'm sure there'll be people I know there. I'm going to go work on myself as a leader. And I remember the night before, my husband sitting on the stairs and going, you really want to do this? And I'm like, I just need you to trust me. I just need you to trust me. And I used my miles, got on a plane, even got upgraded to first class both ways. And I was like, here's a little nudge. My intention was going not to rejoin, but just to work on myself, to reset as a leader. And then I felt it, that just quite nudged to join. And immediately there was hesitation. And of all things, my money coach was there. And I said, is it crazy that I'm thinking to invest in this? It was a lot less expensive when I was in it before. But underneath it all, it was like, am I really going to show up fully? And that was kind of the fear. But this time I knew I could pay for it, which was kind of wild. So, I did 3 payments and I paid it in the 3 months. And I was shocked because my business just keeps growing. So what made me say yes? Kind of what was different? In 2020, I joined for the business. In 2025, I joined because I knew I had to be a better leader. And I realized the only thing standing between where I was and where I wanted to be was me continuing to hesitate and to not trust myself. And so I chose to say yes. And the shift was immediate. I hired myself as the CEO of my business. I started consistently paying myself a salary, which I thought the only way I was paying myself was through doing locums, because that's what I was telling myself. I started leading the team with clarity instead of uncertainty. I had those hard conversations. I made decisions faster with conviction. I raised my prices not once, but twice. I dropped insurance and built a model aligned with the level of care that I truly believed in. And I just stopped operating out of fear. And instead of asking, will it work? I started to ask, what do I need to do to make this work? What if it would be possible if? So now from 2024 to 2025, my revenue grew by 41%. And I can't remember the difference. Maybe Dr. Ina remembers. I cannot remember the difference from the first 6 months of the year versus the second 6 months of the year in 2025, but it was also drastic. It was a big jump. And now in 2026, we're up 57% from 2025 already. So I've created enough stability and confidence to give notice at my locums job, something I've held on to for years as a safety net, and have eventually realized that it was kind of a crutch and getting in the way. And I remember telling Dr. Una, I'm going to give notice. And she's like, okay, when are we doing this? And you're like, why are we waiting to give the notice? And then you have to give 6 months notice. And then guess what? Today, the locums that I'm doing, which is a direct contact with the hospital, they announced that they're closing the OB department. Everybody is in a tizzy. I only have 2 more shifts to come out anyways. I don't care. But they said, Dr. Moyers, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, because I know how to make money. And it was just like fact. I didn't even worry about it. Whereas last year, I would have been in an absolute tizzy. I would have been just as worried as everybody else. And I was just like, yeah, it's going to be okay. And y'all are going to be okay too. It's fine. And what's interesting is they're giving everybody 6 weeks notice when I had to give 6 months notice, right? So ain't nobody looking out for you but you. This year, I also paid off my ultrasound machine, something that felt like a milestone too, because I've been self-funding everything, and we paid it off at the 12-month mark, right when we could pay it off without any penalty. I took 7 weeks off in 2025. My team is stronger, my leadership is stronger, and the business is finally moving in the direction that I always envisioned. It's not just business though. I'm more present for my kids. Sorry, my marriage is stronger. And we're finally remodeling our bathroom. So we wanted to do that for 6 years. The biggest difference is that I trust myself now. I'm not sitting on the sidelines watching everybody else thrive and move forward. I am fully in the game. And if you're here tonight and you feel that nudge, just do it. You won't regret it. Invest in yourself. It's never a bad investment.
We love, 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 love you. First of all, thank you so much for saying yes to yourself and becoming a vision board for physicians. How many of you heard her story and you're like, wait, if that's the case, what could be possible for me? What could be possible for me? Thank you so much for doing the work. Thank you so much for building that dream business and that dream life. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your numbers. It's not something that's common amongst physicians. And man, do we love you. Guys, did you hear me say that your business is a means to an end? It's not the end. For Dr. Moyers, she didn't cry when she was talking about the money, because the money is amazing, but it's a means to somewhere. And it's somewhere where she's a better mom. She has more time for her kids. Her marriage is better. And some may seem like, okay, why are we crying about a bathroom? But she wanted to do this for 6 years. And here she is. Guys, the reason we're doing this, again, this is not about the business school. This is not necessarily even about Moyers. You are here for you. What is on the other side of your yes? What is on the other side of you saying yes to investing in yourself? Look at Dr. Hanta Shepherd. She is a surgeon running a private practice. You do not expect to see joy on the face of a surgeon running a private practice. That's not exactly the way this works. But here she is, and she's only about to celebrate her first year anniversary. Look at Dr. Moyers. Dr. Moyers already had a practice, was already working, but she's like, there's somewhere I want to go. In the chat, how many of you have somewhere you want to go? You're like, there's somewhere I want to go. There's a dream that I have. There's a vision that I have. And Dr. Moyers, I'm going to ask you this question real quick. I know you had a picture of what you wanted, but what you have now, is it more or is it less than that picture? Like, did you envision where you are now, or have you surpassed that? I think you've been back for only 9 months. Like, we're not even,
Yeah, I'm
we
already
still have
blowing
places
my
to
mind.
go.
I'm already blowing my mind.
You're already blowing your mind? Okay. How many of you want to blow your own minds? Because this is what the EntreMD Business School is about. It's about putting you in a place where you can create the dream business, which we're physicians, we're about impact. Otherwise, you don't go to medical school to make money. You go there for impact. We're about impact, but we've only been taught impact. But what if you could have the impact and the financial freedom and the time freedom? That's what the EntreMD Business School does. That dream that you see, that you 2.0, your life 2.0, it is not out of reach. We could bring 50 people from the school and you hear one version they're all amazing versions. They're all different. It's like spice of life, but you hear one after the other. Okay. So your dream is possible. And we like to think of ourselves as the catalysts. Like Dr. Moyers is the one who has the dream. We didn't give her the dream. Dr. Moyers is the one who came with her work ethic. We didn't give her the work ethic. But we are the catalysts to kind of unlock what is on the inside of you. It is possible. We've seen this happen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. It is possible. So we think ourselves are the catalysts. Sometimes we think ourselves as the midwives. What do you get in the EntreMD Business School? We'll go through features and all of that later, but in a nutshell, what you get is world-class mentorship. I run 5 businesses, different industries. We're talking some 7 figures, some multiple 7 figures, been on the Inc. 5000 list 3 years in a row. That's what you get. So you learn. Did you hear what Dr. Moyers said? Because this is what happens in EBS. I got fired. Yay. Now you can go do what you really want to do. It's not a problem. It's a problem everywhere else in the physician. It's not a problem in EntreMD Business School. So they told her, like, we're shutting this down. She's like, not a problem. I know how to make money. That's what mentorship does for you. She has the knowledge. She knows what to do. That's the first thing you get. The second thing you get is you get the gift of accountability. Dr. Moyers will tell you she came on many calls holding on to her locum job, and we hold her and we're like, locum's got to go because it's not what you really want. And I wasn't saying that because I didn't want her to do locums. I did that because I knew she didn't want to do locums. And I'm like, you don't need that. Let's look for how to get you to work on your business, generate more than what you're generating the locums, and let that go. The gift of accountability is the difference between you getting something done in 3 months versus you getting something done in 6 years or never for many people. What is the third thing you get? You get a community of physicians who are literal unicorns. And they're not unicorns because they're unicorns. They're unicorns because they've all said yes to their dreams, which means the second you get in there, you're a unicorn. You're a unicorn, okay? These are people who are building multiple 6, 7, 8-figure businesses and who are holding themselves accountable to their dream business and their dream life. They're not willing to sacrifice. They're not willing to sacrifice one for the other, okay? Okay. So some of you have been on the call, okay? You've already been on the call with Makita and you're like, I just wanted to come here so I can make a decision. Makita is going to post your links for you to just join the school. Some of you are like, man, I want to have a conversation with Makita. EntreMD.com/call, book your call. But the reason why we are doing this is so that you can make decisions to move forward. Dr. Moyers could have said no 9 months ago, and she would have still kind of sort of been growing. But what she's experiencing now, she would not have been experiencing it, and she would not have known that it was possible. So we're not here to tickle your fancy and make you inspired and all of that. We're here to help you make a decision. If you're like, I want my dream life, then you say yes. If you're like, nah, let's kind of see what it goes. Like, we don't want to stay in the valley of decision. We want to get stuff done. So you're booking a call. You know yourself. You've applied 2 times before. You're like Dr. Shepherd. You've listened to the podcast for 2 years, right? And you've done all that stuff. It's time. So Makita, over to you. And when Makita is done, I will walk you through the onboarding experience we have built for you, so that in the next 30 days, you will create more results than you have in the last 6 to 12 months. This is one of those enough is enough moments. Okay. All right. Makita, I'm quiet now.
I have the amazing Dr. Stacey Isman going to join us. Please let us know a little bit about yourself and your EntreMD journey.
I could absolutely start with the one-on-one. Here's my 2 pages of notes. And I feel like I redirected my entire business in 30 minutes. And I was like, I have 3 questions. We worked through all of them. I am writing the book we talked about. I am changing my strategy. I have got like all of this stuff set up. So I'm going to tell you the 30 minutes. And what's smarter about what she does is she doesn't make the 30 minutes like the 5 minutes after you start, okay? Because you need some time to really grow and figure out who you want to be and who you want to become. And I'm going to tell you that who I was when I started was I was somebody who had decided they were going to be a coach, and I was going to make אני money in coaching to pay for my own coaches. So the year before we started, I was going to make $40,000 because I spent $40,000 in coaching, which is a lot of money. But I was a real estate coaching business, and I did somebody else's coaching business, and I said, great, this is all awesome. And I met her through somebody else, and I said, let me start paying attention. And I joined her free revenue challenge. And her free revenue challenge, I said, why did I only make $40,000? Like, I think I could make more money. So I did this revenue challenge, and I made $20,000 more in the 5 days of the revenue challenge. Like 30% of what I was going to make in an entire year, I made on a free revenue challenge with a woman I'd never met. And I said, this seems like there's something there. But I'm like, this is a hobby. This is my hobby business. This is my side business. And so I'm a full-time CMO during the day. I'm an ENT surgeon. It sounds funny to say I'm a part-time on the side ENT surgeon, but I do that a week a month. I have a real estate business, which I was like, this is my side business. But it turned out, I figured out, I'm going to tell you this, is that I figured I was spending more time on real estate than I was on my coaching business, which is not my primary goal. So the time audit I did when I started was fundamental and amazing and changed my life so that I could actually take that now $60,000 business, which $20,000 was just because I did this random revenue challenge that she said this would be a good idea. And I said, oh, this is a business. This isn't a hobby. And so 6 months later, I did the revenue challenge again. I think I made another $20,000. And I was like, well, this is ridiculous. Like, it costs money. It's expensive. But I think I could pay for this. And so I was paying for a team, and I was paying for my own coaching. So I'd spent most of that, $60,000 on my own coaching. And I signed up. I went to, I think, the same event Carolyn went to. And I was like, I'm going to go to this June event, and I'm going to see her live, and I'm going to decide if she's my person, even though I'm pretty sure she's my person. She just made me $40,000 without me paying a dime. And I showed up, and I loved the people in the room, and I liked who I was in the room, more importantly. And so I said, I think she's someone who helps me see my dreams in a bigger way. And so I signed up, but I didn't have the money. So I said, I'm going to do 3, because I had money for the first 2 payments, but I was like, I need to sell something to get the 3rd payment. And I did. And that 3rd payment came in 5 days before that 3rd one was due. Am I a doctor? Could I have afforded the 3rd one on my own? Sure. And to be totally honest, I think this was one of my problems, is I thought I had to pay for it with the work I'd already done. Bullshit, by the way, because I should have realized that investing the rest of my future was going to be so much more valuable. So I made $60,000 that first year, $20K in a revenue challenge with Dr. Una. And at the end of the year, she has this lovely thing where she's like, I have a challenge for you. This is a revenue challenge. And I said, great. I'm always up for a challenge. I'm a surgeon. I've got the ego going. And I made $150,000 in sales in November and December. Like, I had made $60,000 a year before. I'd made $100,000 the rest of the year, which I thought was amazing already. I made $150,000 in sales in those last 2 months. And I said, oh my God. Well, first of all, amazing, right? Like I couldn't have been more proud. And I realized I like sales, which I would never have guessed because I don't know anything about sales a year ago. But also I broke my business. And it was great to be in a community where I could sit down and talk to everybody and be like, how do I fix the fact that my manual, do it on the side, we are all talking too much individually as a VA business, is not set up to have systems to do $250,000 in business, which I just did. And so it was great to be in a community where I could actually take the next step and say, how do I fix this? And then I talked to my team this year and I was like, well, I think we could aim higher. And I said, we should go for like 500,000 because I'm not a coaching business anymore. I am now a faculty development organization that helps academic physicians that's going to make $1 million this year. And I said, we should make $500,000. I think I whispered it to my team. And they were like, what are you talking about? We should make $1 million. We shouldn't make $500,000. And I was like, oh, yeah, I love that idea. So they're leveling me up now. And I haven't figured it out. Like things are messy. Things are broken. I'm still trying to figure out the right KPIs. I'm still trying to figure out the right stuff. But when I look at what I dreamed about when I started this, it isn't even close to what I'm dreaming about now. And it was because the people in the room here helped me see what I needed to do to level myself up and to level my business up and to have way more impact. Because I was in a room where everybody was having impact. I want to have impact. That was me. I mean, money's great. But clearly when I was doing a business for a hobby and I was trying to pay for my own coaching, that wasn't my primary motivation. It's never been my primary motivation. But I realized making that money helps me pay for my team members. It changes the lives of the people I care about. I can donate to the things I care about. I have a real estate business where I work with Section 8 women. You know how much more impact I have if I make money in my coaching business to do that? And I can give up the day job, hopefully in September, everybody here, keep me accountable, so that I can do this full time and really have broader impact. But I would not have had the dream had I not been for the business school, for Dr. Una and the other people in this room. So thank you.
This is so amazing. We love your story. And the funny thing about all this, Dr. Isman, is that we're all amazed by you, but you reference the community. And the community is so huge. I can't, it's hard to explain until you're in it, right? The community is so huge in everyone's growth and development. And you mentioned how not only because it's so inspirational, but just the support and being able to bounce ideas off of one another and get inspired to do things you would have never thought about doing. And like Dr. Shepherd said, there's no gatekeeping. If you want to learn how to do something, someone will just come out and tell you.
Yeah,
so I love that.
I doubled all my prices based on the workshop I did in the fall with the community. I wouldn't have done that had I not been in that room with those people.
Thank you so much for all that you've shown and made possible. The important thing about what you're doing also is that you are making impact and is not necessarily, seeing patients. You can make impact in any way that you want to. And I think that is so important. Dr. Uzor, tell us about yourself.
Jennifer Uzor, also known as Dr. Boo Boo Fixer. I'm the CEO and founder of Allegra Family Pediatrics, an insurance and membership-based pediatric practice in South Florida. I decided to open my practice because I moved from New York and I really didn't like the way corporate medicine was being practiced here, and I didn't see myself being employed. I don't think I'm employable. So when I decided to open my practice, I went all in. I didn't look at budgets. I didn't plan anything. I just blew all the savings. I went overboard. I had to end up having to take a loan because my husband, I blew everything. I started so disorganized. It was worth it because it was gorgeous. If I was in the business school, I wouldn't have done it like that. But I joined the business school right 1 month after I opened my practice. I heard from the business school from a friend, and she told me oh my gosh, she's a pediatrician just like you. And then I started listening to the podcast. In June of 2024, there was the EntreMD Live, and I joined virtual. That's actually my birthday. And everybody was like, what are you doing listening to somebody talking on your birthday? And I'm like, listen, I need to listen to this because I did it all wrong. And these people are getting all right. Something's going to be there for me. So I did. And I went to that and I was seeing everybody and the way that lives were being transformed, revenue was made. I was like, oh my God, I need to see what is that. And I joined right then and there. So since July 2024, I started with the business school. I opened my practice. I started all wrong. 0 patients, lots of debt. Nobody knew me. I'm from New York. I am in South Florida. Never had no followers, nothing. And I went in like 13 months from 0 patients to like almost 1,000 patients span. And that was all because of the business school. Like, I'm happy. I love being a pediatrician. I love being in my practice. I will never plan to retire, but I'm happy because I am allowed to do this the way I wanted to do it. I still take insurance, and everybody say, "Oh my God, you shouldn't do that." But let me tell you this, it still works. So I'm working it, I'm making it work for me. And it when stop working, then I'll learn how to pivot. Something that I learned from the community is that right now, like I was there, I was in the school, life started happening. I was very reactive. I was just being, right? And my practice was not what I wanted to be. I was happy being a pediatrician, but I was a broke pediatrician. And that doesn't work. I mean, like, how can I serve and how can I be as proactive for the community if my husband have to bail me out every month? So I was very frustrated. I didn't have any confidence on myself. I was defeated. I thought everybody was walking all over me. I didn't have a backbone. And it was like going, and my self-esteem was low. I was still an amazing pediatrician, but I wasn't committed to believe what everybody was seeing in me in the school. So something very unique happened. And that happened a few weeks ago in the Business Makeover Mastermind. If I am going to be very upfront, that was life-saving. Not because of my business, because I could have done good in my business if I keep putting the reps in the work. And I know like it would have come to what it is or what it will be. But my life was saved by my classmates and by Dr. Una and by the whole team. People were looking at me and they did an intervention. They were like, this is not you, and this cannot keep happening. That group of people, those classmates of mine, including Dr. Shanta that is there, like sit me down and say, like, what do you want? Do you really want this? What are you doing? And let me tell you, I came back that Monday to work and it's been at 180. Since I got here, I restructured my whole practice. I hired a VA. I have a part-time pediatrician that is going to cover me. I'm leaving on Wednesday to Scotland on vacation. I have like my schedule. I am the office still because my schedule has been full the whole since I got here. My schedule has been full and I've been loving it. My notes are done at the end of the day. My schedule is full. My practice is growing. And now I believe that all of that, I deserve it because I'm working hard for it. But I wasn't believing on it until I saw it, until I had that experience with my classmates. And it was something that I say it was not a business mastermind, it was a personal mastermind, because I show up different. My husband even say, "Oh my God, look at you, you're a CEO." And then my team started following my instructions because I show up as the leader that I know I could be. I don't have to change. I'm still the sweet person that I always been, and I'm never going to change that. But I know what I deserve and I know what I'm building. And the gift of accountability is brilliant. I have this community that I show up for, and they're waiting to see what Dr. Boo Boo's gonna do next. And they hold me accountable, and they see me, and they're proud. And this is keep me going. My business, it's still growing. I'm a year and a half into my private practice. Am I gonna have to move to a different call next year, probably, or at the end of this year, because I'm gonna be crossing the million? That's for sure. So because I want it, because I know I can do it and I deserve it. And I got all of that because of my colleagues, Dr. Una, and everybody have so much faith in you that you feel very weird not having faith in yourself. So it's kind of like peer pressure to be excellent.
Love, love, love. I want you to pay attention. This is a pediatrician in private practice in an insurance model. What is the normal language of a pediatrician? I am just a lowly pediatrician. What is this pediatrician doing? Like, I've decided I'm just going to take you to $1 million. I'll join you guys to scale.
Yep.
Do you guys see this? This is so wild. Dr. Boo Boo Fixer, we are so proud of you. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
proud of you. I'm waiting for you in scale. Okay, where are
Yes,
you?
and anybody that is on the fence of joining the school, I must say one thing. I was starting this whole process with a lot of debt, with a lot of uncertainty. I didn't know how I was going to pay for this thing. I mean, I knew I could always fall back. I have a lot of support in my family. But let me tell you this. I went in, and this is absolutely worth it. I'd rather have no money for diapers and have my business school tuition, because this is what is going to make me to that million. So potty trade those kids so that you don't need money for diaper, and pay for the business school, because it's absolutely worth it.
So she was deep, deep, deep in debt, very uncertain. And she was like, I am going to do this. Guys, listen to me, okay? Part of the reason we're doing this is because I have seen stories like Dr. Uzo. I have seen stories like Dr. Stacey Isman, such a rock star. Like, what a rock star. I have seen stories like Dr. Moyers, Dr. Shanta, over and over and over again. So when I see a doctor who is like, I want to build this dream business and I want to build this dream life, and I know I need the support, I know I need the help, I know I need the mentorship, but I'm not sure. Let me show you what makes me passionately show up for you. I know the opportunity cost. I know you could have a story, your version, because if you notice, there are 4 stories, they're all powerful, but they're very different. There's your version of a story that we don't get to read. We don't get to see. Like Dr. Uzo would not have known that she would have gone from deep in debt to actively working on $1 million practice. Now, when she says she's coming to the upper tier, she's not coming there to play. She's coming because after the million, she knows there's more. To think that this reality is also available. Please hear me when I say this. The business you are dreaming of is possible. The life you're dreaming of is possible. And I promise you that what will end up happening will be way beyond what you could have imagined. There was a doctor who came on and she said, when I joined the school and Dr. Una said all these things about million this and million that, I'm like, clearly she's not talking to me. Guess what? Last year, she crossed $1 million in revenue. And she's in the room that Dr. Uzo was talking of going to, right? She crossed that, and it was not something she thought was possible. More is possible for you than what you know. And the opportunity cost is real. I'm not, like, you listen to the podcast, you understand that I'm not a fear monger. I despise fear. So that's not what I'm trying to do. It is that I have seen this so many times, I cannot unsee this. Okay? If you are here and you know that, man, I have this version of my dream business. For some people, they were starting. For some people, they were taking theirs to the next level, wherever you fall. But you're not like, I know there's more. I'm committed to doing more. And I'm willing to be in a place where I'll get the mentorship, community, and accountability. Do you see Dr. Uzo? She could have been doing that for a year. And her people sat her down and say, ma'am, we're not about this. What's going on here? And this event happened 2 weeks ago. And all of a sudden, look at all the shifts that have happened in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Even her husband is like, oh my goodness, right? Mentorship, community, accountability, plus you, the rock star physician, and your commitment will create a life you did not think was possible. So please hear me when I say this. We did this so we can answer all the questions you need answered. We can show you all the proof. We can show you examples of what is possible so you can make the decision. Okay? So if you're like, I'm sure, but book a call. EntreMD.com/call. If you're like, man, I'm like Dr. Moyers, I'm like Dr. Ishman, Dr. Uzo, I am going to invest in myself. The link is there for you to invest in yourself. So we have looked at the stories of some of these doctors, but these guys are not here because they want to show off. It's more sacrificial for them to come share their stories. You guys know, in the physician community, people are not going around sharing their numbers, sharing their vulnerabilities, sharing all of that. That's not a thing that happens. But they're sharing all of this because they want to pay it forward and they want to help you make the decision they made that changed their lives. They're not here to show off. That's not what this is about. This is not about them. This is about you. Okay? Okay. So for those who are ready, like, the enrollment is very simple. We have decided to set up something that makes your success in the first 30 days like beyond unbelievable. So we have created what we call the EBS Fast Track Experience. Okay. And the idea is for you to get more results in 30 days than the last 6 to 12 months. Now, you heard Dr. Uzo and you see the transformation that happened in 2 weeks. You heard Dr. Stacey Isman and you see the transformation that happened in 2 months. There's so many things that can change rapidly. So I'm not saying this to be cute. I'm not saying this because it's a sales tactic. I'm saying this because I want you to experience this. The people in the business school can tell you, I am on a mission to make 7 figures the new floor for physicians, not the aspiration like it's the floor. This is what we just do because we got it. We can do that, right? Okay. What have we put together to ensure that in the next 30 days, you make more progress? Some of you will be years, some of you will be 5 years, but to be nice, 6 to 12 months. We have 4 core trainings that you'll get instant access to tonight as you sign up tonight, okay? You get their training to get your time back. Because one of the things that comes up a lot for people is like, I don't know if I'll have the time to do this. Not having the time to do this is an indication you need to do this because you don't get more time by waiting. You get more time by learning how to master time. So you have the training to get your time back. You heard Dr. Moyers talk about her business and all the growth. Like the second half of the year grew by 41%. And now this year, they're already 57% ahead. Like think about that. And she has more time for her family. And her marriage is better, and her parenting is better. And she's now remodeling, doing all kinds of fun stuff. Okay. So you get the training how to get your time back. We show you, you get the training how to build your custom roadmap for your business goal. So your number one business goal. So you're not beating around the bush. You heard Dr. Moyers say this when they said, oh, we're closing down this apartment. She's like, I know how to make money. Okay. You get training on how to develop the mental toughness that deals with the imposter syndrome, the overwhelm, the fear, the analysis paralysis, all of those things. What is the mental toughness that makes you move forward in spite of that, right? Then you get the training on how to create revenue on demand. You saw what Dr. Isman did, right? How do I create it on demand? You saw what Dr. Shanta, the conversation I was saying with her, she's going to create a lot of revenue on demand, right? And Dr. Moyers, I know how to create money. She knows how to create it. So you get access to those trainings immediately. And we're not leaving at that because the EntreMD Business School is not about throwing a lot of information to you. It's about implementation. How do we take this thing and do it so we can create the results? So we have 3 live sessions for you. It's an hour long and it's an hour that will rock your world. The first session on the 13th will show you how to maximize your ROI in the school. I do not own the EntreMD Business School because I want to make money. Now, I am going to make money, but that is not the motive. The motive is to rewrite the narrative for physicians. You can see these doctors who share their stories. They're living alternate realities. This is what I'm here for. So it is of no benefit for me whatsoever for you to come into the EntreMD Business School and not make an ROI. My win is your ROI. When I look at these 4 doctors, I'm like, oh my goodness, I could do this all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. Why? Because that's my win. So we show you how to get an ROI. Okay. We show you how to build your CEO calendar so you can get your time back. Okay. So we'll do it in real time. On the 20th, you're going to come with your custom roadmap for your business revenue. We're going to show you overview how to do that. We're going to do full on Q&A. So you're walking away from there knowing, okay, this is how I create revenue on demand. These are the pieces I need to put together. Okay. April 27th. These are all Mondays, by the way, 6 p.m. We'll show you how to build your own custom roadmap. So this is your own yellow brick road. I want to go here in my business. This is the custom roadmap. So you have your roadmap for the next 60 days. So the rest of Q2, and we'll do a Q&A after that. These things will ensure that at the end of 30 days, you've bought your time back. You're very clear on how you need to go. You've developed that mental toughness. You understand how to create a revenue generation engine, and you know how to get your ROI. And not above all of this, but in addition to all of this, you get to join what we call the EBS Commonwealth, which is the private community of the EntreMD Business School. These are doctors like these. I want you to imagine these are the people you now have in your corner. Okay? All right. In the EntreMD Business School in general, what do you get? You get world-class live mentorship calls. This happens every Monday, every Wednesday. The one from yesterday, oh my goodness, so wild. Okay. You get RevCon sessions. We don't hide behind anything. We talk about money. This is my revenue goal. Why am I not hitting it? What is the obstacle? What do we get out of the way? We do this every month. You get tactical trainings every single month. Right? How do I build a newsletter? How do I build a YouTube channel? How do I hire my team? How do I build company culture? All of these things, you get training on them. We have laser coaching sessions. We call them 7-figure conversations. We do deep dives. This is happening. Champions mindset. We did one of those yesterday. You have to, and you heard everybody talk about mindset, evolution, becoming the kind of leader, right? That transformation, we work on that. It's not accidental. And then you're then eligible for 2 in-person events. So you heard Dr. Jennifer reference it and the big change that happened in her life. You heard, Dr. Shanta, the conversation we had in an event, the changes bringing in her life. Dr. Stacey Isman talked about the conversation she had that made her double her prices and create wild results in her business. You get access to all of this. Why do we have this here? Because we want to see you win. We only have one agenda: to see you win. This is not a ploy. This is not any of that. The team and I and your classmates, they're here. They could be doing anything. They're here because they want to see you win. Okay? Your investment, $30,000. Okay? Now, the MBA at Emory, that's, in Atlanta with me, is $140,000. Do you know what they tell you will happen after you do that? They'll tell you get a 6-figure job. And on average, people who leave here, they get a 6-figure job. You already have a 6-figure job. You don't need that. And so for a $110,000 discount, we will show you how to become a physician entrepreneur and how to build 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses. Now, as you know, 7 is the floor for me. That's what I'm building. That's what I'm optimizing for. Okay. So $30,000, you may say, oh, that's a lot of money. But Dr. Stacey Isman here invests in real estate. We don't look at the money we put in. We look at the potential for an ROI. Is the $30,000 that created the transformation you heard Stacey Isman talk about? Is the $30,000 that created this transformation you heard Jennifer Uzo talk about? Is this $30,000 that created the transformation that Dr. Shepherd is talking about? Do you guys see that? So it's not about the investment. It's about your dream. Do you want it? Is it worth that? Okay. Is it worth that? So you can do it in full. You can do 10,500 like Dr. Moyers, 3 payments, 3 monthly payments, either or. So the enrollment is very simple. For those of you who are ready, you know yourselves. You can either do the pay in full or you can do the payment plan. So EntreMD.com/pay in full or EntreMD.com/3pay. You get to choose. You make your payment, you sign your agreement, you do your survey. So those of you are like, I have a question, book a call. Makita's put spots on her calendar. Makita just loves physicians. So after all this, she's still going to talk to physicians. Book a call with her. We'll speak with you. We do not do any high pressure sales. We'll just walk you through what you need to know so you can come join us. Okay. I had a doctor, and I'm not saying this to scare anybody. It's just what happened. I had a doctor reach out to me and say, Dr. Una, I'm so embarrassed. And I'm like, why are you embarrassed? What's the problem? And he said, I had the opportunity to join the EntreMD Business School when my friends did. And I said no. And it's been 2 years. And their lives are completely different. And I'm in the same spot. I am not saying this to scare you. I'm not trying to manipulate anybody. Please don't misunderstand me. But I want you to understand what I'm thinking. 2 years, same spot. 2 years, somebody else has changed their life. The whole thing Dr. Moyers is talking about, this happened in 9 months. Dr. Isman hasn't been in the school for up to a year. She joined in June of last year. Okay. So if you have questions, book a call. If there's a question that's stopping you, book a call. If you know, you're like, yes, Dr. Una, yes, I've been on the fence. Let's do it. Go ahead and join. I'll see you on our one-on-one call. It'll be fantastic. Okay? Rooting for you.
Dr. Kwan had a question. He says, of course, I'm a unicorn and worry about self-accountability. How do you solve a problem? He said a problem like me, but I won't say a problem like me because he's not a problem, but a problem like that. A lot of people are worried about self-accountability. They want to be sure that they would do well in the program. So what do we have to say about that?
Anybody on here, this is not about the EntreMD Business School. This is about you. Okay? Now, if you're asking this question, then I'm sure that one thing is you're like, I want more. Okay? And show of hands, how many of you can say, like, truthfully, I know there's more. There has to be more. There has to be more. This can't be everything, right? Okay. So it's that you want more, and then you're probably closer to where Dr. Moyers is, where you're like, but but I'm the thing. Like, I need to work on me because I am the one in between where I am now and where I want to be, right? And so if you decide, this is a decision, that I am going to go after what it is that I want, then that's your commitment. Like, I'm going to go after it. I'm going to stumble many times. You would hear Dr. Stacey Isman said, yeah, I still have to deal with, this and deal with that and deal with that. Let me tell you something. These doctors have as many challenges as they have wins. They're not just like, Sally. But if you notice, even from the first 30 days, one of the things we're showing you how to do is to develop mental toughness because it's there, right? And so what that means is you can decide, I can fall as many times as I need to fall. I'm going to get up. I'm going to mess up as many times as I need to. I'm going to get up, right? Because that's how we learn how to walk. That's how we learn how to talk. That's how we learn how to do everything. We don't need to be perfect. If you are committed, like, I am going to do this. The fear of making mistakes or doing it messy or all of those things is not an issue. Everybody's doing that. And that's why the community is so magical, because they normalize this stuff. So if you're willing to do that, like, I'm committed and I may mess up and that's okay. We're just going to keep going. We will match your commitment with the mentorship that will make you the kind of person who does what needs to be done. If you look at Dr. Uzo didn't come leading with strength. Look, I've been amazing and I got into the business school and I got more amazing. That's all she did. She said I was in debt. I was playing in my practice. I wasn't even doing, they did an intervention and here I am. So the biggest thing that will happen to you in the EntreMD Business School is not that your business will make a lot of money. The biggest thing that will happen to you is that you will change. That's the biggest thing. If you listen to their stories, you'll see that trend. You will change. So you will become the person who gets it done. But the starting point is you saying yes. It doesn't mean yes, like I'm perfect. It means yes, I'm going to do it no matter how many times I fall down and no matter how many times I do it messy. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to commit to the process. You commit, we will match you. We will match you with world-class mentorship. We will match you with a community. You heard Dr. Uzo say it. I think she was the one that said it. Like, everybody believes in you. You're just like, I guess I might as well believe in me, right? Everybody's eating frogs. I guess I might as well eat it. Everybody's afraid and still doing it. I guess I might as well do that too. We will match you with that. And we will match you with the gift of accountability. So all you need to do is say yes. That's it. That's it. Say yes to the process. Fear is not a pet. If you listen to the podcast, you've heard me say this. It's not a pet. Fear is your mortal enemy. Fear is the thing that cages you in your comfort zone. And in your comfort zone, there's nothing magical that happens in your comfort zone. There's no great growth, great transformation, quantum leaps. None of those things happen in your comfort zone. I used to interpret fear as stop. That's not what fear means. Fear means you are at the edge of your comfort zone. You're about to exit your comfort zone. Now, out there, things are a little scary. You'll do things a little messy, right? You're not familiar with there, but that's where everything good happens. So if you are feeling fear, it is normal. But what it is telling you is that you are at the edge of your comfort zone. Don't let it stop you. It's not a pet. Nothing good has come out of being afraid to take the next bold step. Nothing good comes out of that. Okay? Why am I passionate about this? Listen to what we talk about. Oh, it's burnout. Oh, nothing's working. Oh, being a physician sucks. All of that stuff. You can have an alternate reality. It won't fall in your lap, though, but you can.
Dr. Giacomo's asking, is EBS scale a different sign up?
Yes, EBS scale is a different sign up. Dr. Dosumo, you can book the call. Makita will take care of you. Yeah, and if you do that, we'll do the one-on-one for you too as well.
Dr. Selena says, what is the difference between the Profitable Private Practice movement and this program?
The Profitable Private Practice movement, we built that in December of 2024. And we built that because so many private practices are going out of business. You guys see the posts every day. I've decided to shut down my practice, all of those kind of things. And the problem is behind that are thousands of patients who now have nowhere to go, or they go to places that they shouldn't be at. And so I asked myself this question. I said, what is the thing that I can build that is so simple, an hour a week that they can do, and we can focus on three core things that will make any private practice profitable. Like, you'll be profitable. So you have a really good foundation, because I'm always building with the 7-figure, 8-figure in mind. Really good foundation, but you'll be profitable. I'm like, if I can get them to fill their schedule, get paid for the work they do, build a profitable team, they'll be fine. So we build this membership. Everybody shows up every Thursday. They work on their business on these 3 things. But in that container, we're not doing the evolution from physician to physician entrepreneur. There's just no bandwidth for it, right? In that container, we do not have the kind of community that we have in the EntreMD Business School. In that container, I'm not talking about 8 figures. I'm not talking about a business you can exit from. It doesn't have all of that. So is it a good foundation? Yes. If you're ready to go 0 to 60, the EntreMD Business School is where you need to be. And if you're in the profitable private practice movement, you see that it works. Because people are in there and they're like, I 3x my revenue. I had my highest revenue month, all of that stuff. You've already generated the money to pay for the school, ma'am, sir, Okay, right? So really, that's what is the foundation that makes profitability inevitable. But now when you're ready to do some serious damage, the business school is where you come to.
Dr. Zoom user is asking, has anyone graduating from EBS failed to achieve their life and financial dreams? If so, why?
So let's look at it this way. For the people who get the wildest results in EBS, what are the traits? How many of you would prefer that answer? It's the same question, but I'm just flipping it. And when I say wildest, we have had people come in as employed physicians and take practices to $1 million in a year, 15 months, 18 months. We have a doctor who came in with an already established practice, took her practice to their first 7-figure month. Like, I'm talking wild wins, okay? And everything in between. So in the EntreMD Business School, we celebrate every win. You'll be surprised. We celebrate everything. But for the people who've gotten the biggest results, what have I noticed? Makita and I, we have brainstormed on this a lot to find the traits. I will tell you what it is. Number 1, they are coachable. They don't treat business like a buffet. Like, I will have some 7 figures, I will have no marketing, I will have no sales. No. They're like, okay, this is the framework Dr. Una has shown us. I'm going to go try this. And I'm not saying that to say my word is law, anything. That's not what I'm saying. But they're open to trying things that they're not even fully convinced of yet. Okay? They're very coachable. There's a doc in the business school. She said, Dr. Una, I can't come for the vision retreat, which is one of our in-person events. I'm like, how come? She says, because if I come, I have to close my practice. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday event. I have to close my practice. I was like, if you run a practice that needs to close every time you leave, you need to be at the vision retreat so we can fix that. There are many people who they're like, whatever. Like, I'm not going to lose 2 days of revenue because I need to and pay for the event and fly to the event. I'm not doing that. You know what she did? She shut down her practice and she came. That same doctor has now taken that practice to multi 7 figures. That same doctor, when she had a family emergency, she sent a text, guys, I won't be in the office. And the office ran as if she was there. Coachable. They're coachable. There's a doctor, we had a call today, was a very tough call because she has a significant de-hire to do. And I said, woman, you need to fire this person. And she's going to get it done. And her practice is going to explode in the best possible way because of that. Why? She's coachable. Oh, yes, we need to do YouTube, right? Dr. Rachel Rubin would tell me, I have a face for radio. I don't have a face for camera. But then this week, she was on Mel Robbins' podcast. Coachable, number 1. Number 2, they're committed. Some people, this was earlier, this is not now. We have elite physicians in the EntreMD Business School. People will say, well, I paid you this money, make my business work. But that's not the way it works, right? If you look in life, you have the negative charge and the positive charge. You need both of them. You want to have a baby, you need the sperm, you need the egg. You need both of them, right? You want to lose weight, is diet and exercise. You need both of them. We need your commitment and my commitment. Okay? So no matter how committed I am, if you're not committed, we can't create a result. I used to have a messiah complex in the beginning. It's like, if I can just work hard enough or coach hard enough or whatever, we're doctors, right? Like if you're committed to your patient's results and your patients are not committed to the results, they cannot have the results. Do you guys see that? If you are coachable, number one, and you're committed to your results, like I am going to make this happen. Now, the EntreMD Business School will support me. They'll teach me. They'll give me accountability. They'll do all of these things. And I hold the commitment. Like when you listen to Dr. Jennifer Uzo, she holds her commitment to her results. Stacey, she holds her commitment to her results, right? Dr. Moyers, she's committed. Dr. Shepherd, these people are committed. Then they're like, all right, Dr. Nuna, what do we need to learn about that? Okay. And the third thing is when the challenges, notice I did not say if, when the inevitable challenges of entrepreneurship show up, they lean in, they don't lean out. They don't say, oh, let me go sort myself and I'm not talking to anybody and nobody knows what's going on with me. And no, they come in, they say, okay, this is what's going down. What do I do? They stay in conversation. They lean in. Because the challenge, it could be in your personal life, it could be in the business, whatever. We've been alive long enough to know that there's never been a year without challenges. It just is what it is. So if you want to be one of the people who will create wild results, and wild results is based on what you want. In the EntreMD Business School, we don't make anybody want anything. We're like, what is your dream business and what's your dream life? All right, let's go. You want to be somebody who is coachable. You're willing to try things. You're like, I don't know about that. You're willing to explore new ideas. You are committed to your goals. And when the challenges show up, you lean in. You do not lean out. Because nobody can read minds. Nobody can support you if they don't know you need support. And I'm telling you, we will support you. The community, they will go to war for you. But if you don't show up, if nobody knows what's going on with you, nobody can help you because nobody can read minds. Okay? So these are the three things. We've watched it time and time and time again. These are the things.
Could you please speak more to how a speaker's pathway or framework may work?
So this is a good question. Now, in the EntreMD Business School, you will find that we have all kinds of businesses, okay? So we have people who are private practice insurance-based. We have people who are direct primary care, direct specialty care. We have people who are coaches, people who primarily do events, people who have products. We've had an artist. We have all kinds of people. We have intrapreneurs, some of my favorite people. They work jobs. They don't want to quit their jobs, but they understand that they are the business, right? And so they come into the business school, they learn like everybody else, but they put themselves in positions where they can negotiate like bosses or they can monetize their personal brands or whatever. There's so many pathways. So it's not about the type of business. It's about the physician becoming an entrepreneur and building a business system around whatever it is they want to do. Okay. So that's the first thing to understand. Now, so when you come into the school, maybe you see a lot of private practice people, but that's because the number one physician will open is a private practice. Well, we have private practice, we have cash-based practice, we have insurance-based practices, we have coaches, products, all kinds of stuff. Okay. And people, go from one to the other and do all kinds of stuff. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because this is what we focus on in the business school. We are not curriculum heavy. We teach you enough to go and do and get results. Do you want a certificate or do you want results? Which one is it that you want? I figure we have enough certificates, right? Many of us, you look behind, we have 1 million certificates behind us. We don't want another piece of paper. We want the dream business and the dream life. That's what we want. So we don't focus on 72,000 different principles. We focus on 4 things, okay? So the first thing is making that transition from physician to physician entrepreneur. That's the first thing. Nothing works till that happens. You heard Dr. Moyers talk about it. I did the practice, I did all this stuff, but I was the issue. And it's always us. And even when you get to where you get to get to the next level, it's you again. You have to evolve. Okay. So making that transition, so becoming the kind of person who knows how to set and accomplish goals, becoming the kind of person who has the mental toughness to weather storms, because storms will show up, the kind of person who understands, how to manage time, how to buy back time, the kind of person who believes I can have it all. Okay, I can have it all. Okay. So that transition, that's the first, becoming the physician entrepreneur. The second thing is building a number one brand where wherever you're in your market, amongst your audience, amongst referral sources, you are the clear leader. Okay? You are the clear leader. How do you do that? Through speaking, through your HQ, which will be a YouTube channel, blog, all of those kind of things, the referral sources, all these things. We help you build that. Whether you're doing a private practice or a speaker, you will need that because there is the art of speaking and many speakers are broke. Okay? There is the business of speaking if you want to make it. So I've seen speakers who are broke. I see speakers who only speak and bring in 2.5 million every year because one understands the business, the other one only understands the art. Okay. So this number one brand, why do you need to build it? Because that will determine how many gigs you get. That will determine the speaker fee you can command and all of those things. So you need that. The third thing we focus on is the revenue generation framework. How do we make this money? Like how do we create money? How do we build a revenue engine? So you hear Dr. Moyers say, I know how to create money. How do you take people from, we don't know who she is, to we know her and we like her? Oh, we're going to pay her. We're going to pay her again. We're going to send other people to pay her. Do you see what I mean? That's a whole engine. So you master how to do that. So now you have the art of speaking and you have the engine that converts it to dollars because the EntreMD will serve and earn. We've been lied to that, oh, you're a nice physician, you should serve. But you don't pay your bills with service. You don't leave an inheritance for your children called service. You need dollars to do that. We live in an economic world. We do need to stop pretending. So the revenue generation framework, okay? Building that engine. Again, you can see that it doesn't matter what kind of business, you need these three things. You see? Okay. The fourth thing is then now building a profitable team because launching a business is fun. Well, in retrospect, you'll see it as fun. It's fun. Growing a business is fun. Now, when you start growing a business, you really need team. And if you don't know what to do with team, an improperly led team is where all profits go to die. So you see people running very successful businesses, but they're not making any money. They're doing locums to pay themselves because they have not built a team that knows how to serve and earn. So the only person earning is the owner. That is called a disaster. And so what that does is it takes you from running away from an employed position because you're burnt out to creating your own custom burnout. Okay, like you made it by yourself. We don't want to do that. So how do I hire and lead a team that for every team member, they expand my capacity to serve and earn and have time off? So for instance, people are running like, oh, I can't afford to hire a practice administrator. We just had a client who hired a practice administrator, hired in a profitable way. And it's like, oh my goodness, I need to do more of this. Who else can I hire? So other people are running away from hiring. This person understands that the secret to serving more, making more, and having more time is a profitable team. So again, these are the four things we focus on. Year in, year out. And consistently, it creates stories like what you heard. So now you're confident as a CEO and you know what to do, right? You heard Dr. Jennifer's husband say, you're a whole CEO. He's been married to her the whole time. He saw the difference. You learn how to build that number one brand. We had, at the events we just did, we had 3 speakers who did over 6 figures in speaking, and speaking is not their primary business. Why? Number one brand, revenue generation framework. They understand how to do that. And then build profitable teams. So you have your time back, you have increasing impact, you have increasing financial freedom. And my dream for every physician is that this is the norm. Dream business, dream life. We gave up over a decade of our youth to become healers. We went into debt, multiple 6 figures. It cannot be that at the end of that, we have lives we hate. That's not the way the world works. There's such a thing as an ROI. And I demand an ROI for myself. And I demand an ROI for every one of my peers. Nobody's going to give it to us, though. We're going to create the ROI. And if we say no to creating it, we won't have it. We'll be like everybody else, complaining and whining and all of those things. Or we can have an alternate reality. It's up to us.